The jobs report came out today. Great news with the number of jobs that were created in the American economy last month. 531,000 new jobs were added. The unemployment rate fell to 4.6%. Now, Republicans continue to say the economy is in tatters, but the evidence doesn't suggest that. I had a chance to talk to Dr. Cecilia Rouse. She is the head of President Joe Biden's White House Council of Economic Advisors, the highest ranking African-American on the economy in the country. And she walked us through what's going on with the economy, why we've had challenges, and also the outlook ahead. Here's our conversation. All right, so Dr. Cecilia Rouse, look, I said, we're going to talk economics, what's happening with the economy. I said, I need to talk to you. You lead the White House Council of Economic Advisors. It's always great talking to you. You have this narrative that's going on. We saw it coming out of exit polls on Tuesday. The economy is doing so bad. You look at the job numbers released today. You look at the adjusted jobs report for August and September. Now, I don't measure the stock market, but you look at how that is doing as well. You look at wages going up. I'm just trying to understand, where's this bad economy Republicans keep talking about?
Yeah, look, I don't like to focus on any one month of jobs data or economic data, any one particular point. But what we have seen, now we've had several months in a row of data that tell us that our economy is strong and recovering. What we saw with today's job report was that the economy created over 500,000 jobs last month, that it was fairly widespread. We saw big gains in leisure and hospitality, which is a sector that's been particularly hard hit by this pandemic. We saw that the unemployment rate ticked down. So it was a strong report. Look, that said, we appreciate that this report also reminded us that the economy is at the mercy of the virus. And so what I think that part of the challenge that people are feeling is that we're coming out, the economy's gaining, but we are just, we're still in the middle of this virus. We're getting through it. What the president has been just a strong leader on, and which is so important, is that in order for us to truly get back to where we were economically, we're going to have to get past this pandemic, which is why it's just so important for people to get vaccinated. It's been so important that now vaccines are going to be available for children 5 to 11 years old, because we know that as we get through the pandemic, we will recover. This is why the mandates. There was a study done at the University of Chicago. They surveyed a group of economists, and economists never agree on anything, but there was unanimous in agreeing that mandates were going to, again, be important for having a strong recovery. So the economy is doing very well. The part that is providing some pain is that as we're adjusting and coming out of this pandemic, prices are elevated. So we know people are feeling it at the grocery store. We know they're feeling it at the gas pump.
But Doc, let's unpack that. And this is why I'm saying that. So, for instance, we're hearing all of this supply chain. But the supply chain issue today is rooted in last year. The average person, look, when you talk about making of goods, you had people who did not have people coming to manufacturing places. They were coming into work. And so what now happens? Now when you have this uptick, people buying stuff, you didn't have folks making the products in the last year. So now you're trying to play catch up. That's why you're impacting the supply chain.
Well, that certainly is part of it, Roland. And then also part of it is that we gave people the resources to get through this pandemic, which has been unusual. Usually at this point in a recession, people would have been, not having money to put food on the table. They would have been struggling to pay the rent. We gave people through the American Rescue Plan the resources to get through. People are still getting, those who have children are still getting checks in the form of the child tax credit. And so people have had the resources to get through. So what they did, as they could not go to restaurants, they couldn't go to the cinema, they couldn't go to concerts, instead they bought goods. And so you're right, Roland, some of those goods weren't being made, but also people shifted what they were buying to buying stuff, to buying goods. And so we actually see coming through our ports, more goods coming through our ports than ever before. And our system just wasn't designed for that. As people feel confident that going out in public again, as people get vaccinated, as we get to the other side of this pandemic, where they start to go to restaurants again, they go to the movie theaters, they're buying those services, we will also see some easing of the supply chain. It's pandemic economics. We massively disrupted how we buy, how we consume.
Right.
We massively disrupted our chain, how the economic system works. And we're putting it back together. But fundamentally, our economy it continues to grow, continues to heal, and it's on the mend.
Well, it's sort of like when I hear these people complaining about empty store shelves. Again, if you did not have the infrastructure to churn out the products and the items in a timely basis, you're going to be running out because you're not replenishing.
Yep. Well, and also people are buying more than they were before. And so it really is this mismatch of the demand for the goods and the speed with which people are able to supply them. And let's face it, we need to get more people back to work, back employed. We understand that. And again, as people feel more confident that by going back to work, they're not going to be jeopardizing their health, we feel very confident that more people will be getting back to work as well, which will allow us to also be creating more goods.
Explain for the audience when we talk about consumer confidence. When you see the narrative, when you see these constant stories, oh my God, how bad it is. I remember when the August and September jobs report came out, and it was doom and gloom. But then again, of course, we now see they've been adjusted upward. So part of this idea of consumer confidence is when you're constantly hearing that it's bad, then it's like, oh my God, I feel like it's bad, as opposed to being able to hear, no, this is these actual facts. From your vantage point, isn't driving the narrative also important? Explain to people really in a much broader way how the economy works. Like, look, the Trump folks always focus on the stock market, but the reality is most Americans aren't even in the stock market, so that can't be the main driver of whether the economy is doing well.
That's right. At this moment, what we see the main driver of the economy being is the virus. As the employment numbers slowed down as the Delta variant picked up speed in the United States. Now that it's coming back down, people are feeling more confident about going back to work and to getting back in the marketplace. So it is very much about this pandemic. But again, the American Rescue Plan and the president's very effective vaccine team have made it possible for us to have, the vaccination. So we know that something like 70% of the adult population now has had at least one shot. And as more people become fully vaccinated, as our children get vaccinated, we'll all be so much safer to be getting out of the house. I do want to make one last note here, which is that people are complaining about the prices and they're not sure where this economy is going. The bills that Congress is considering now, the president's economic vision for Build Back Better, which is making investments in physical infrastructure. So that's our roads, bridges, ensuring we have broadband in every household, a high-speed broadband. But importantly, investments in people, in our human infrastructure. So that is ensuring that families have affordable childcare. That's ensuring that our childcare workers are paid good wages, universal pre-K, so that all of our children, 3- and 4-year-olds, have access to a high-quality pre-K setting, which we know pays for itself several times over, and is so important to our communities of color in particular, to have home health care system that actually works for families, so that people who want to both work in the outside of the home and can be assured that their loved ones are being taken care of. These are the kind of investments which we know are also really important for ensuring that we have continued economic growth. So we're getting through this pandemic. It will be a process, but we are making strong, steady progress. But we also know that the work is not done and that we have further investments we need to make in this economy.
Cecilia Rouse, is always good chatting with you, and thank you so very much for giving us this breakdown of the economy.
It's always a pleasure, Roland.
All right, see you soon.
Bye.
Folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
Maureen is saving big holiday shopping at Amazon, so now she's free to become Maureen the Merrier. Food is her love language, and she really loves her grandson. Like, really loves.
Time to be smart.
Roland Martin's doing this every day.
Oh, no punching!
Thank you, Roland Martin, for always giving voice
to the issues.
Look for Roland Martin in the whirlwind, to quote Marcus Garvey again.
The video looks phenomenal, so I'm really excited to see it on my big screen.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
I got to defer to the brilliance of Dr. Carr and to the brilliance of the Black Star Network.
I am Roland with Roland all the way.
Honored to be on a show that you own. A black man owns the show.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
I'm real revolutionary right now. Roland was amazing on there.
Stay black. I love y'all.
I can't commend you enough about this platform that you've created for us to be able to share who we are, what we're doing in the world, and the impact that we're having.
Let's be smart. Bring your eyeballs home.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
You dig?